It's your bestie, Miss Westie. It's your bestie, Miss Westie. Did she say Miss Westie or Miss Northwestie? I don't know. I haven't even really heard that song fully. I've just heard it like on TikTok and stuff. Um, and trust me, it does have a part to play in this episode. But first and foremost, hello, and welcome to Quarter Life Crisis. That's cry as in, and sis as in, hey sis. And I am your host, I am Ade. Before we get into the podcast and what today's episode is about, I would like you to take a deep breath in and out with me. Is that okay? Yeah? Alright, let's do it. Take a deep breath in and out. Okay, we're here. We're here now. We're in it together. I'm gonna be honest. I did not want to come in to record today. I was not in the mood. I've not been having the best week mentally, emotionally, but we're here. I'm here because this is something I want to do and a commitment that I'm making to myself, and I think it's important to be honest about the way I'm feeling and about the way things are going. And you know what, I think with how kind of shitty I've been feeling this week, the topic that I want to talk about may be even more apt, more fitting. What I want to talk about is best friends. More specifically, being your own best friend, I guess. And that's why the Northwest song came to mind, because I remembered what I was going to be talking about today. Yeah. Sorry. I'm coming as I am, okay? One thing we're going to do in Quarter Life Crisis in this podcast is come as we are. And your girl's a bit tired. But basically, about last week, 2 weeks ago, I came across the video by Olivia D'Andrea. I don't know if anyone knows or has heard of her. She's a YouTuber. And the video was called How Glowing Up Ruined My Life. And if you are someone that has watched out, even if you aren't, I guess I should explain. So Olivia D'Andrea has a series called The Glow Up Diaries. And I think her series inspired a lot of spin-offs, or loads of other people did similar things. And I remember a couple of years back watching a couple of the episodes in the series on YouTube and being like, oh cool, and just thinking she was all around cool. I never really paid that much attention to it, and literally I watched I would say maybe 2 or 3 videos. I was more in awe of the way she did her videos, less the content. Of course I cared, but I was more interested in her format and the form. But basically, I know about this girl, and so when I saw How Glow ruined my life, I was like, what? Especially because in the era of being that girl, or of growing up, of being this I don't know, ultimate version of yourself, I was like, oh shit, she's one of the, I guess the pioneer, maybe not the pioneer, I don't know if that's the right word, but I was like, okay, what's this about? And it's basically a 25-minute documentary following all the different videos that she had in the Glow Diaries, but then also things that maybe she hadn't shown us, and of her kind of breaking down and just literally how the way she spoke to herself and who she wanted to be was actually detrimental to her mental health, detrimental to her sense of self. Of course she was glowing up, but you had parts in the documentary where she was failing at glowing, and when she'd lose weight and then she'd gain it back, and that was the thing as well. A lot of it had to do with her losing weight and clearing up her skin, but it was mostly about diet and going to the gym and stuff, and she wasn't able to keep the weight off. And then there was a moment where she actually finally was able to, but there was a lot of self-hate talk in there and a lot of actual self-harm. And by the end of it, she comes out on top, and she kind of realizes that she needed to accept herself at whatever stage she was at. And a lot of the validation that she was looking for, she found ways to do it herself. And a lot of the things that used to matter to her, once she accepted herself, once she became her own best friend, these things stopped mattering. And so the main reason why I'm actually mentioning that video, if you can't already tell by the title, is because she talks about being your own best friend. Yeah. She talks about self-worth versus self-confidence and then acceptance. So, where do I start? I'm a confident person, for sure. I think if you ask people to say three things, to give you three words that they would use to describe me, I think confident would be in one of them. So in the video, Olivia talks about the difference between self-worth and self-confidence, and how self-confidence often comes from things you've done, achievements you've made, things you say. Maybe for example, I might be someone who's confident in her public speaking skills. Why? Because I've done it and been successful at it and I've done it. Or, do you know what I mean? I might be someone who's confident in her poetry. Why? Because it's something I've done over and over. But do you know what I mean? So like, self-confidence can sometimes be based on doing, be based on productivity, be based on just things that you've done, things that you're able to do. And I think that's very true, because sometimes, and I think I identify with being confident, that on the days or the times when I don't feel confident, I almost feel a sense of shame. I'm like, who are you? You are a confident person. Why are you shying this? Or why all of a sudden can you not do this thing? I thought we were confident. I thought we could do anything. I thought, and sometimes I would shame myself for my moments where I lack confidence. And I think that's because, as she said, self-confidence is like achievement based. I think that's the best way to say it, or it can be. Now, like one of the reasons why I'm confident in myself is because I've been confident before. Does that make sense? I have achieved moments of confidence, so I continue to be confident. But self-worth, now she says, self-worth is not achievement-based. Self-worth is an inherent knowing. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you say, how you look. Self-worth is knowing and having this feeling of, yes, I am worthy of whatever I want. I'm worthy of being alive, of being here, of existing. So there's a difference. One is achievement based and one is inherent, like in depth from like into. And if one thing is based on what you do, that means it can be moved. Self-worth, while of course it can go up and down too, ultimately when you have it, even on the days where it may be less, once you have it, there are external things cannot affect it, kind of, is what I'm saying. And so when she said that, it's got me thinking, do I have self-worth or am I just confident? Or do I have both? Because I definitely think I have a sense of worth for sure, to some extent. I think it's hard for me not to, as a Nigerian girly. My sense of worth has been something that's been like drilled into me. But then again, also, sometimes in terms of being like, if I going back to me saying I'm a Nigerian girly, and what I'm saying is a sense of worth might just be self-confidence, because you have the days where like you think you're not good at something, your mom is like, do they have two heads? You can do it too. But again, that's based on doing an achievement. I hope this makes sense. I hope you are understanding. I hope I'm communicating what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so like I said, thinking, do I have self-worth or am I just confident? I know I'm confident. I do have self-worth, but it's not enough. It's not good enough, could be better. And I mean, life is a journey, it always could be. And I thank God for the level of self-worth that I do have, because it's brought me this far. The level of self-worth has meant that the people in my life are people who understand my worth. The level of self-worth that I have right now has meant that I do put myself out there, but there are many ways in which, especially recently, I think my self-worth has been knocked. And or is it confidence? I don't know. I'm starting to confuse myself. I think my confidence has been knocked, and maybe that's because so I think there are many ways in which my confidence has been knocked. And therefore now I'm like, rah, I don't want something that can be knocked in this way. And therefore I'm like, I want to build up my self-worth. So that even when my confidence is low, my self-worth is still there. Do you know what I mean? Truly, do you know what I mean? And like, deeper than that question is, do I like myself? And do I love myself? I think I love myself. And for the most part, I like myself. My God, this is starting to feel like a therapy session. Because I'm really thinking about it. Because I think there are things that I do that I'm like, this behavior maybe doesn't correlate with what I'm saying. There are things that I do that may not correlate with someone who loves themselves. But I do. It's just, again, maybe it could be on a deeper level, on a more accepting level. And so what I'm trying to get at with this, or what I want to do, what I want to achieve, is a level of acceptance, self-worth, self-love. Even, what's that word? Oh yeah, because you have like body positivity in it, and then there's like body neutrality. So maybe even just a self-neutral. But I think I'm going to embark on a journey, which I think I have been on anyway, but I'm doing it with more intention, of becoming my own best friend and giving myself the love, the acceptance, knowing myself, having that self-worth that I think for the longest time I've been looking for in others, despite being someone who knows how to be alone, despite being someone who likes her own presence and doesn't need people. I still think there's a lot of validation and even best friendship that I've been looking for from other people, that I think it's time to really and truly give myself. Because you know what? I can't come and kill myself, because my inner child, I think, has been hurt in ways when it comes to friendship. Oh God, okay. Let's see. How am I gonna explain this to you, man? I have good friends. I have not just good friends, I have great friends. I love them to death, and I think they're amazing, and they make my world brighter. Okay, but I've never really had a best friend. And that's something that's always bothered me as a child. I think it came with, it was a two-edged sword, because I'm someone who likes being alone, or who enjoys being alone, and enjoys her independence. But I also wanted that person that I was like, that's my best friend, and they see me as their best friend too. But that was never really the case for me. I was often, like, young when I was younger, in like friendship groups of 3, and the other 2 people would always be close, and I knew that if they could only pick one of us, they were gonna pick each other, and they weren't gonna pick me, you know. I was like always the third, and even all my close friends now that I have, they all have their own bestie. Like I know we're close, and I know that, when they're thinking of people they want to talk to, people to call, people to invite to things, I know I'm one of them, but I'm not their best friend. Like, they might consider me as one of their best friends, but if you were holding a gun to them, like, who's your best friend? It wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me. Like, if they're only choosing one person, it's probably not me. And that's something that I've, like, been aware of and then just let go. Like there's times when like it really bothers me and I'm like, oh, I don't have a best friend, oh my god. And like I watch TV shows and you'll see like the two people who are really close to each other and this and that, and I'm like, oh, I don't have that. Like I have a group of friends, I have a support system. That's why, and sometimes it feels like, girl, why are you complaining? Some people don't have no one. You have a bunch of people who are willing to come and support you and show up for you, and I'm so grateful. But I don't have a bestie. Or I don't have a mutual bestie, I think. You know? And sometimes I'm like, what am I really complaining about? What am I really saying? Like today, I think the younger me had a point, especially being because I was always in friendships of 3. Like I knew I wasn't the bestie. I was the one who did kind of feel a bit left out from time to time. And I think I've carried that with me. And I see that dynamic play out a lot in my friendships still till this day, you know. And it's funny because I'm saying this and my friends are going to listen to this podcast. They're going to be like, girl, what are you saying? Why are you putting us on blast? But like, I don't know. But also like, maybe I'm wrong because I've never asked someone. I'm not like, whoa, am I your best friend? Are we besties? But the thing, I mean, are we besties is different because like I said, you can have multiple best friends. But because of how I've been scorned when I was younger, I'm always so wary to claim anyone as my best friend, you know? I think for me, in my head, it goes from like acquaintances, friends, close friends, and then family. And family is not just literally the people I'm related to. I mean, friends that I'm so close to that like you might as well be just your family to me, right? I don't have that like best friend. I might refer to my best friends as besties. I'm going on a tangent, y'all. Anyway, what I do want to say to any of my friends listening to this, that obviously I haven't asked, but if any of you are listening to this and you're like, girl, you are my best friend, like I am your best friend, you're thinking, hello, in the group of friends that we have, I would pick you, I would say you are my best friend. Please let me know. Tell me, because I did not know this. Let me know so this can be a mutual thing and you are my best friend. Sometimes it's also on me, actually, because I don't know. I have such great friends. I'm like, how do I pick just one? But all of you seem to be able to pick one. I don't know how you lot are doing it. I'm talking about my friends. I'm out here complaining I don't have a best friend, but I'm like, wait, if all of my friends came to be like, hey, I volunteer as your best friend, I don't know how I'd be able to pick. So this is what I'm trying to say, that like I think it's something I brought on myself, you know. It's no one's fault, and I know it sounds trivial, but you know what? No, fuck that. Let me validate myself. It matters to me, okay? It matters. But yeah, so any friends out there, if you're like, girl, I consider you my best friend, please let me know so that we can be, so that I know, you know, so that we're on a level. But also no hard feelings, literally. Like if none of my friends are like, yeah, I consider you to be my best friend, that's okay, because I literally just told you that I already know that. Anyway, I've decided to really and truly be my own bestie, yeah? And that means I really need to look out for myself. It means I really need to not just look out for myself, but look after myself. I like being alone, and I know how to entertain myself. And I know how to be by myself. But am I my own best friend? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I could do better, you know? I could do better by me. And so, like, what does being your own best friend entail? I guess it's like, how do I speak to myself? How do I/will I show up for myself? And, like, looking at, like, how will it affect my relationships outside of me and, like, my quality of life? So, like, okay, if we start with how do I speak to myself? I think the way I speak to myself sometimes is so rude, it's so out of pocket, it's so mean, it's so demoralizing, it's so deprecate, it's like, it's terrible. I would never speak to one of my friends the way I speak to myself sometimes. It's insane. And so I'm trying to develop the habit of when I start saying mean things to myself, to just tell myself to shut up. Like, don't talk to my bestie like that. Who the fuck do you think you are? Shut up, bruv. I think that's how I need to go about it, honestly. Because I think I put myself under constant scrutiny of myself, and that's no way to live. Like, I am with myself 24/7. Imagine I wake up, I look in the mirror, I examine my face, my skin, anything. I'm like, do I have a spot here? Is this patch of hyperpigmentation, how's it doing? Is it getting better? Do I look tired? Do I have bags in my eyes? And then I have the audacity to also like lift up my shirt. Okay, how are my abs doing? Is my belly is it doing this? What, my thighs, are they doing this? Is the cellulite? Is it too much? Is it Girl, relax. You just woke up. The hell? You just woke up. Like, imagine if that was someone outside of yourself. Like, it was fucking drill sergeant being like, excuse me, look at your face. It's not doing what it needs to be doing today. Excuse me, look at your thighs. They're not doing what they need to be doing today. Excuse me, look at your shoulders, look at your nose, look at your fingers, look at your feet. They're not doing what they need to be doing today. Do better. Whoa. I would be like, get the fuck out of my... I would run, but unfortunately I can't run away from myself. So what's the only solution? To be nicer to myself. Because I think enough is enough. And it's hard because it's a habit and it's something that I've been doing for years, decades even. I'm 25, y'all. I've been doing it for, I don't know, for as long as I've been aware of myself. And sometimes the voices are not my own. Sometimes it's society's voice. Sometimes it's my mother's voice. Sometimes it's me hearing what my friends say about themselves and then internalizing that and then using that to compare myself to what they've said. Do you know what I mean? And none of us deserve that. So I'm going to work on that. And then how will I show up for myself? I'm pretty good at keeping my word to my friends and sacrificing time or sleep or however I'm feeling for my friends, yeah? But I will easily let myself down. I'll just be like, I don't want to, I'm not going to. And the thing's like, I don't know if catch-22 is the right phrase, and I don't think it is. Because of course, there are times when I can let myself off and I should let myself off, you know, because sometimes in the same vein as you make plans with a friend, you're not feeling great, and I cancel the plan. That's me showing up for myself. I'm like, I can't show up for my friend in the way that I would like to. It would make me feel bad or feel worse. So I'm going to show up for myself and be like, I'm really sorry to disappoint you, but I can't do this thing. And in that way, I'm not disappointing myself, you know? And so sometimes, you know, when I say I'm going to do this thing for myself, and then I'm like, no, there is okay, are you not doing it because you suck at keeping promises to yourself, or you're not doing it because you've assessed the mood that you're in today? Not even the mood, you've assessed your energy levels, your cup. And right now it's on empty, so you can't do this thing anymore. That's okay, rest. Sometimes it's that. In fact, actually, usually when it's that, I still push myself and that's not showing up for myself, you know? Like, rest, it's okay. I know you've been told you need to be productive, you need to produce, but just rest, okay? Now, the other side is when I'm breaking promises to myself, when I don't need rest, or when I don't need to be watching a movie, or I don't need to be doing this. I've said, I'm going to make some really good food for myself, or I'm going to go to bed earlier today, or I'm going to start that podcast, you know? Things that I know that are good for me, that will make me happy, that will make me joyous, that will help me get through the day better. And I'll just be like, just not showing up for myself. In fact, and let's even take it deeper, showing up for myself even in holding back in terms of things I want to say, or choosing somebody else's comfortability over my own. Like, oh, I don't want to say this because I don't want to make them uncomfortable. Meanwhile, I'm stewing in uncomfortability. Meanwhile, my body wants to come out of it. Meanwhile, my spirit wants to come out of my body because, I cannot sit here. I'm uncomfortable. But I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to move because I don't want to make the other person comfortable. I'm not showing up for myself. Or someone says something to me, and because I'm scared of like what they may say or how they may feel if I speak my truth. Or I'm scared of the conflict that may arise from me speaking my truth, me communicating. I'm just going, bim, quiet. No back talk. No back talk. That is, I'm letting myself down in a way, you know? And I don't want to do that anymore. It's going to be, it's easier said than done, you know? It's not going to happen overnight, but I'm going to try. No, I'm going to do it. But I'm going to give myself some grace, which is another thing. Grace. Being willing to give that to myself. And I think sometimes I really do need to see myself outside of me, because there are ways in which I would be loving, show more grace to somebody else, to my friends, than I would to myself. And I think if I see myself as myself and as another person, if I see myself as my friend, God, what am I saying? If I see myself as this other person, then it may be easier to show up for myself the same way I'm able to show up for the people I love, because I am also a person I love. And I think it needs to be more than just in what I say. It needs to be in my actions too, because we're always talking about like actions matter. Actions do matter. And so I got to start doing it for myself. But yeah, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a journey. It probably won't be easy. Because I know myself, and I know there are times when it's very hard for me to be accepting, because I also need like a sense of control, you know. I know you might be saying, oh, but you can control yourself, you know, but like that's what I'm saying, that like sometimes I think I don't just want to control myself, I want to control a situation that involves my okay, you know what? I don't know where I'm going with this, but basically it's a journey that I've decided to take on, that I've decided to go on, becoming really and truly my own best friend, working on my self-worth, showing up for myself, speaking to myself kinder. And I'm so interested to see how that will reflect in my relationship with others also, you know? I think it can only make them better. And I think any relationships that may feel threatened by this are maybe relationships that I don't need anymore. But honestly, like the true ones, I just think will make them better, because I feel like having so much compassion and love and best friendship with myself can only make me a better friend to my friends, can only make me a better lover to my lover. Hey, boyfriend. Can only make me a better daughter, a better sister, a better human being, if I love the person I am, the person that I spend time with the most. And I think there are like, when I just said, if I love the person I am, something came to mind about like me not loving myself until I become this person that I think I can be, where it has to start with loving the person I am right now, flaws and all, accepting every single thing about myself. Because otherwise I'm like, I think instead it becomes like a shame thing. I want to love me now. And I think loving me now as I am now, accepting myself as I am now, will also aid in me becoming whoever this vision of myself is. To be honest, yes, I have a vision of who I can be and who I want to be, but I'm really excited for me present to feel a love and joy and acceptance from myself. I think she really needs that and really deserves that. So I'm excited for her to get to know her and for her to feel love from me, because I am a very loving person and I deserve to feel my love. So yeah, I urge you to come on this journey with me. of becoming your own best friend, not my best friend. I mean, you can be my best. Sorry. I urge you to go on a journey of becoming your own best friend. I think you'll love it. I think it'll be tough, it'll be hard, but we can go through this together. It's all part of the quarter life crisis, existentialism, struggle, cycle, whatever you want to call it. You deserve to love yourself. You deserve to feel the love you give to others be returned to yourself, and to have a full cup always. Yeah. That's it from me. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You can find me on Instagram at ayomidnight. That's AYOMID_night, like the nighttime. And on TikTok at ayomidnight. That's AYOMID and then night, but night with a K. Knight in shining armor and that. And if you're curious, you can find me on YouTube too. I haven't posted anything in a while on YouTube, but it's the same name as the TikTok name. You can look at some of my videos. Maybe you'll find them interesting. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to Quarter Life Crisis. I hope you'll stay a while and lend me your ears again next week. Bye.